In Isaiah, we have these words. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And I want you to help me with this part, okay? It goes like this. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. And we remember that he is the Prince of Peace today, especially on this second Sunday of Advent. We know that the Prince of Peace has come, right? His name is Jesus. And for those of us who are getting to know Jesus, we're getting to know peace. We know peace, the person of peace. And we're aware, though, that even though the Prince of Peace has come, that not all the world is under the submission to the Prince of Peace's reign, right? Advent is this time where the church remembers that we live between these two comings. We live within this tension that Jesus has come and Jesus is coming. And it's both a beautiful thing and it's a challenging thing to faithfully live in the reality of a new creation, while also awaiting for its fullness to come. Advent is this invitation to practice life under the reign of the Prince of Peace. But Jesus instructed his followers, us. He instructed us that we are not only to be recipients of peace, but that we are to be makers of peace. Peacemakers. There's some pretty big enemies to peace, though. It can be a battle. Namely, I think those enemies might be pride and selfishness and envy. James says it this way: who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual. He even goes so far to say demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder in every evil practice. But, he says, the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. There's some that believe that peace comes from forcing our desires. James says that thinking is earthly thinking. That's not heavenly thinking. The wisdom of the world says that we should win at any cost. The world's peace comes from being better than others. We call that pride. The world's peace comes from making a name for myself. We call that selfish ambition. The world's peace comes from not just wanting what I need, but wanting what others have. We call that envy. And it seems that some of the least peaceful times seem to come during this season, when we also try to declare with the angels peace on earth, goodwill toward men. Isn't that interesting? Christmas can be a stressful time. Mostly because of pride, selfish ambition, and envy. Has anyone else sensed that Christmas has come maybe to represent a season where we try to outdo someone else? Have you noticed that? You know, from getting the best Black Friday deal before anyone else and win at any cost, to having more under the tree than our friends, or at least to not let them have much more than we have under the tree because we don't want to be embarrassed in front of our kids. For many, Christmas might mean many, many things, but peace is not one of them. For the last few years, we have been trying to look at Advent and Christmas differently. Restoration Church has joined a growing movement called Advent Conspiracy. There's certainly good reason to give gifts at Christmas, but it seems that so much of the world's Christmas spending has become lost in a selfish, ambitious culture of consumerism and the stress of outdoing our neighbor. And again, while offering gifts to others for the right reasons is a good thing, we really believe that at a time when we celebrate Jesus' birthday, it makes a lot of sense to ask Jesus what he might want for his birthday. So we have a special guest with us today. Janice Nicchio Pendergrass is with us today, and a couple of her friends that I'm going to have her introduce to you in a moment. But before she comes, I want you to watch this video. This just kind of recaps what Advent Conspiracy is and why we are committed to it every year. Let's watch this video. hopefully that shares a little bit of the heart behind what we are doing with Advent Conspiracy every year and what we have been doing. I don't even know how many years it's been, maybe 7 years, something like that we have been doing this. And it is a great joy to have Janice and your friends with us. Janice, would you just kind of introduce yourself, introduce your friends, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you?
Well, my name is Janice Nicole Pendergrass, but most of all, I like to say that I'm a servant. I am the founder director of Bertha's Mission, and it is truly an honor, first of all, to give thanks to God for allowing me to be here. And I thank each and every one of you for allowing me to spend this time to sit here with you today and give praise to God and for such a glorious season. For truly, this is the reason for the season, Jesus, for us to be able to just give thanks to him for another day's journey. And truly it is. Good. But most of all, I don't like to just look at myself or who I am other than a servant of the Most High God. But I am the founder director of Bertha's Mission, on a mission to just bring more attention to who he is. But to my right is Kelsey Colson. She is our food service director. To my left is Misty White, and she is our office director. Great. And we have been blessed within the last couple of months, since August, actually, to bring these two aboard on Bertha's Mission as we grow.
Good. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that you are related to Robert Pendergrass. Tell me a little bit about, because these people know something about Men's Warming Shelter. He is the new director there, but he also pastors, and you're a pastor's wife. Tell us where I'm not sure that we've got this working. I'm going to try this. You go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Oh, man, you asked me some good questions. I'd like to spend more time with each and every one of you so that you can really get to know me, because sometimes the questions that's going to be asked are questions that are a little bit more deeper than just a 2-minute answer. But yes, I'm a pastor's wife. My journey has been very, very interesting. Most of the time, God has used me to do things that I didn't even expect. And I'm sure many of you have also went through that too, where God opens up doors for you. You don't even know that he's opening up doors. My husband is a pastor. That in itself has been truly a blessing that I didn't expect. He is the director of the Men's Warming Shelter. I met him back in 2013 after my mother had passed in 2012. I was talking to him about, I don't know what's going on in my life. I'm, feeling a little bit like, what is it that God wants me to do? And he said, sounds like you keep talking about this mission, starting a mission. I said, no, not me. Because my mother had owned Chuck's Soul Food. And I don't know how many of you know about Chuck's Soul Food, but it was a for-profit restaurant here in Bedford, Indiana, for 13 years. And so I pretty much thought I had enough of cooking. And he said, no, I keep hearing you say something about a mission. I said, no. So anyway, I just returned back home from China, studying abroad over in China and studying abroad over in London, where I did learn a lot about serving other people and the poverty issues that each one of those countries had dealt with. And so again, I said, no, not a ministry mission, nothing like that. It's got to be something else. But he kept pushing and saying, yeah, I hear mission in you. And I said, no, that's just the pastor in you. So at that time, I wasn't even thinking about marriage either. So I said, no, he's got to be hearing some other God, because that's definitely not what I'm thinking. But as you can see now, he was correct. His talk with God was a lot stronger. His communication with God was a lot stronger than mine, I guess, because he heard something that I didn't. We got married. We started this mission, Bertha's Mission. It's been 7 years, and it's been going really strong, very well, because of support from our community. Praise God for that.
Good. Tell us a little bit about the mission, the the kinds of services that you offer. I know the main services, you offer food there at the location. Tell us a little bit about that, and delivery as well.
Okay. We provide meals Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9. We start opening up the doors at 9 o'clock, but we don't actually start serving meals until 1 o'clock, 1 to 4, and anybody can come there. We don't ask what their incomes are or anything like that. We don't care how many kids you have, whether you're married, single, or whether you lost your job yesterday or you even have a job. We don't care. We figure that if God doesn't care, we don't care. If you have a need and you feel like you can come, you decide that you come there to the mission, then you're in need. So it's not up to us to decide on whether you need or not. That's between you and God. We are faith-based believers. We believe that one of the things that God had told me many years ago when we first started the mission, he said, if you serve just one, then you've done as we said, as I told you to do. And that's what I stick to. We don't care if you're walking, or if you're running, or if you're driving up to the mission. We serve you. That's just what we do. It's
Good.
pretty simple. On Wednesdays, we deliver meals, 148 meals to the elderly disadvantaged, to Heldonville, Bedford.
How many meals did you say?
148.
You deliver 148 meals. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, 148 to Heldonville, Bedford, Olytic, Tunnelton, Fort Ridner. Did I miss anyone? Mitchell. Yes. It's an average of 60 to 90 meals that we serve daily. Now, what was very interesting is at the peak of COVID, our numbers, I want to say triple, but they did more than that. Really? Actually, just in the month of April alone, let's start with March, because COVID hit March 16th, right. Basically. We served 767 meals just in March. But now listen to this. In April, we served 2,287 meals. That's just the meals served in that month. Wow. At the mission. For deliveries in March, we delivered 409 and 655. Yeah, and then May was 869. And then we have numbers there too.
So our total for this year so far, total meals that we've served, and this is including the Thanksgiving event that we did. We served around 1,600 meals at our Thanksgiving event that we had back on November 21st. So we were really blessed for that, and we really thank the community for supporting us and helping us be able to serve that many meals. So far, year-to-date meals is 16,135.
Isn't that incredible? Did you know that this was happening? I mean, I knew of Bertha's mission. You probably knew of Bertha's mission, but maybe you didn't know to what level they are serving. And I know it's got to be a record year for you. I know it was a record year for the Thanksgiving meal by maybe 200 meals or something like that. You can't do this alone, right? Talk to us about your volunteers, and just put your pitch out right now, Janice, if you would, okay?
I'll go ahead and start that question off.
Sure.
So I took the director of food ship position back in October. I had just started volunteering in July, and I was only doing 1 day a week. And then they offered me the director of food service at the beginning of October, and I was really blessed, and I felt like that's what my next step was. So I accepted the position, and it's been really great working with these two ladies. It's been really awesome. We've gotten really close. And so we have service Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We start service at 1, but then, of course, we need people to come and help prep the food, get it ready for service and to do the actual service. We have a drive-through line right now, instead of having our dining room open, because since we can't do that with COVID, we do a drive-through service. And we've got a drive-through window attached to our building, and people can walk up and people can drive up, and they'll say how many meals they want, and we package them up for them and send them on their way, and we don't ask any questions. Just like Janice said, if you want a meal, you got it.
Good.
And it's absolutely free. And so we always need volunteers to come and help prep for Tuesday, for Wednesday, and for Thursday. And so
how many volunteers would you say it takes every week to operate? Do you know that?
Well,
off the top of my head, I would say at least 4 in the kitchen.
Okay. All right. And I know that we have a bunch of volunteers. Well, I say a bunch. I'm proud of the bunch that we have that serve at Bertha's mission very regularly. I know Jennifer serves regularly. Regina serves regularly. I saw Cheryl Collier on one of these pictures. I think she's doing something else now. Gary's helped out. Others here and others I know that are listening online. Oh, Pat Harris is regular as well.
Evan and Jaden.
Oh, Evan and Jaden, of course, are there every week. Good. You depend on the volunteers, I know.
We do. We need volunteers all the time, because the thing about volunteers is that it's from the heart. And so not all the time, they have other things to do. And so you want to try and spread yourself around. And so once, you do it for like so many months, and then other I don't want to say opportunities, but other events come up, or someone else, a church, or you have something else come up, you want to try and spread yourself around and not kind of be partial to just Bertha's mission, even though we want you to be partial to Bertha's mission. So some move on, and so we're always, wanting volunteers to come. And then with COVID, we tried not to have too many, but the need is so great that we need people to come all the time. We need kitchen help. We need people packaging the food. We need people helping us to clean, because we're always sanitizing in there. Then we need deliverers. Like, we have 7 routes. So we need people to go and deliver the meals, and we would like for people to double up on the routes, have 2 people in the car with them. So especially when we go to Heldenville or Tunnelton or somewhere out there. And with the events, we want people to, so many routes, like we had 270 meals that we delivered for Thanksgiving. That's a lot of routes. Yeah. That's a lot of routes. So we need people all the time for events. And we have basically really 3 events a year. Not this year, but normally 3 events a year. So keep us in mind. Keep watch for our events, because we're always needing volunteers.
Good. Tell us just a little bit about those events. We know about the Thanksgiving event. Of course, there's the regular main, what happens every week, in the serving meals and the delivery of meals. But what other meal or what other events do you have?
Well, we do the Easter event, which is normally hosted at First Baptist Church over on Washington, and it's the 10 by 10. So we do the Easter event. It's similar to the Thanksgiving event, where we have a big dinner. And it's to recognize Jesus. And then we also do the Uncover Hunger, which I seen a picture a few minutes ago. We used to call it the Gospel Gala, but then that God of ours, he said, is it really a gospel gala, or is it really the folks should be on hunger? And so it's like to uncover hunger. And so what are the issues that people deal with when they're dealing with hunger? And so we started looking more at, it's about uncovering the issues of hunger. What do people really deal with? It affects their mentality. It affects their faith. It affects their relationships. It affects their health. And so we started doing that event. That's in September. We didn't get to have that this year because of COVID. And then we have Thanksgiving, of course. And then we actually, Dr. Jim Souders and his team come together in January, and they do and I think Regina actually participates in that. It's the First Step 5K run. And those are some that help us with our fundraising to keep us afloat.
Good, good. Excellent, excellent.
And then Misty, I wanted her to chime in. And what I'm trying to do also, in case you haven't noticed, is that I'm trying to get these two so prepared that Janice is not the face that people see.
The best leaders lead leaders, right? And that is wonderful to have you both here with us as well.
So in addition to all of you, we also rely on donors to
Put that right up to your mouth that they won't hear you online. If you
Is
can
this
help it.
better?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So in addition to all of the people coming in and helping us, we also rely on donors to help us to with the food, to purchase food and that sort of thing. So we, for Thanksgiving especially, we called several different restaurants, and most of our rolls, if not all of them, came from local restaurants. So we get a lot of donors that way, and monetary donations are also, appreciated to help us purchase food and kind of keep us going.
Good.
I kind of threw Misty in there when and both of them kind of got put into this little fire pit when we were doing our Thanksgiving event. See, I knew a lot of this information, and I'm just sitting back going like this. Let's see how they're going to get through this one. But anyway, I said, okay, here's this paper, and I want to see how I want you to call this person, and this is how our organization has operated for the last 7, almost 8 years. Here's our donors, here's our sponsors. I need you to contact them because this is what we need for this event to function. And so we had a couple of obstacles that came up, and so I said, no, here, you need to have this many meals, and you need to contact all of these clients or guests. We call them guests, and see whether or not they're going to want meals this year. So there was over about 300 and some people on that list. I gave that list to Misty. She's like, I can call all these? Yes. Then I told Kelsey, I said, okay, Kelsey, now you've got to compile get a Zoom meeting together with all of these people to see whether or not they're going to help us host this, because we normally have our Thanksgiving dinner at one location. Now we're going to do it at 5 locations. So it's called a shift. Sometimes when obstacles are put in what your normal routine, you have to shift. And that's pretty much what Bertha's mission has been able to do, is shift. Yeah. And that's with your church, I'm sure you've had to make some shifts.
Right.
And so we've been blessed because God has always been the orchestra of the shift. He knows the plan. And so we've been just like, okay, Lord, what are you doing now? Okay, I'm ready. So our sacrifice, our obedience has been better than our sacrifice. And that's what's been really helpful for us. It's just like, I tell them all the time, don't ask me. I don't know. We're just going to shift. Yeah. And so when I gave Kelsey the list of all the people to contact for Zoom, she jumped right on it. So I already know that these are my 2 leaders right now. And that's going to allow me to be able to go out and meet with some other people in order for us to move Bertha's mission forward. That's my goal.
That's neat. It's good. It's good. So you have, and I apologize for those online that our TV's not working. We have this up here simply because it's a better experience for those online. Not today, and I apologize for that. But you have a particular project. When I talked with you about, hey, we would love to take on Bertha's Mission as our Advent Conspiracy ministry that we're going to kind of be a sponsor for this year, you came back with a project possibility. Would you talk with us a little bit? They don't know anything about this yet. So you tell us a little bit of what we talked about. You do that?
Okay. So, again, we are so, so blessed with doors opening for Bertha's mission. Every time we turn around, help me with this. He says, if you be faithful over a few things, I'll make you rule over many. Sometimes you don't know where your blessings are going to come from, but you just have to be ready to receive them. And so he's awesome. God is so good. Sometimes I just can't praise him enough. So excuse me. When I think about the goodness of God and how far he has brought Bertha's mission, I get a little teary. Sometimes I wonder how we're going to make it, but I believe in him, and I trust him, and I have faith that he already knows the plan. He already knows my thoughts before I even think it. So a lot of times we get people call us all the way from New Albany, and they'll say, we have 40 cases of chicken. Can you come and get them? I'm like, oh, how are we going to go get 40 cases of chicken? We have a van that's, I think it was 1990 or something like that.
Really old.
Well, my SUV won't take 40 cases of chicken, and I think we have a S10 pickup. I'm like, nah, I won't take it. So anyway, we have a trailer, a 4-foot trailer, and I'm like, that won't work. So we're calling around asking, can we borrow someone's box truck? And I'm like, okay. So that's a task in itself, just calling around asking to borrow a truck. Sometimes we had to rent a truck from U-Haul. And that's been challenging. Mm-hmm. Kelsey's called, Missy's called, I've called, and it's like, and last year it was really funny because when we were able to get turkeys preparing for our event, we had turkeys. It's like, can you guys put all these turkeys? We got to pick up these turkeys and hams, and we didn't have nowhere to put them all, so we had to borrow people deep freezers. And can you go pick these up? Can you pick? So we had about 4 or 5 other trucks, people picking up stuff for us. Mm-hmm. Then we get a call from Indianapolis to pick up stuff. Here we go again. So 3 times a year, we're called to go and pick up tons of stuff, but we have nothing to pick it up in. So that's our big challenge, is a box truck. And so that's what we're trying to do, is get a box truck so that we don't have to call everybody or rent box trucks.
Yeah. And I think that we can help them out with this. I think this is a need that they have. And I just know our participation in the past with our Advent Conspiracy Project. I think we can, if not pay for a box truck, we can put some pretty good seed money toward a box truck for Bertha's mission. And I'm excited about that.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, please.
And this is what we do with the chicken. In addition to, because we didn't even understand why got this call about all this chicken, and we were trying to figure out what do we do with this chicken. When people drive up to pick up their meals, we give them bags of chicken. So whenever we're blessed with something, we turn around, we also do food boxes. And so we'll ask them, in addition to the food boxes, would you like a bag or 2 of chicken? Sometimes there's been families that come up with like 4 or 5 kids or 6 kids, and like, we'll give them 4 bags of chicken so that way they can go home and prepare nice, healthy meals.
Good.
So we do.
Good. I just kind of imagine, too, if you had the means to transport, you could even have even more coming in.
We could.
I really believe that.
They called us last Monday, and I've forgot how many cases he said he had. We also share the chicken with other ministries too. It's like, can you use this? And they're like, did they have a feeding ministry? It's like, well, we've been contacted and we'll give some to you. So we're constantly sharing with other ministries because we want to make sure our motto, the scripture we go by is Matthew 25. For I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was naked and you clothed me.
Yeah. I was a stranger and
I was a stranger and you invited me in.
Whatever you have done for the least of these,
You've done unto me. Absolutely.
And Janice, I love it that if you go and visit their website, that's their theme verse. That's been our theme verse, hasn't it, for Advent Conspiracy. We believe that Matthew 25, if there's ever a wish list for Jesus' birthday, this is the kind of thing I want for my birthday, it's Matthew chapter 25. You do these kinds of things for others, you do it for me. This is what I desire. And so it's been our pattern on Jesus' birthday that we celebrate, that we will give to him in these ways. Not in all of the selfish, ambitious, consumeristic, cultural Christmas. Not that, but something different, something wholly different.
Did you know that my husband, which is Pastor Pendergrass, his birthday is Christmas?
Oh, yeah?
How lucky
He
could I have
shares a birthday with the best, doesn't he?
He does.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Any closing thoughts or anything from any of you?
Just thank you so much for thinking about us during this season and helping us to continue to grow Bertha's mission. We're really blessed for the support from this church and for other churches and from the community. So thank you so, so much.
Good.
We truly couldn't do it without all of you.
Good. Can we just say thank you for coming, and our prayers are with you. Let's pray for them, and then let me just say this, and then we'll pray. That passage that we read in James, it says that those who sow in peace will reap a harvest of righteousness. And sometimes it feels like the seed that we are sowing in peace, the seeds that we're sowing in joy and love and hope in these times, it feels like it seems so little. The world's issues are so big. What can we accomplish as just a little church on the corner of 19th and East Streets in Bedford, Indiana? When you plant a seed, you have to wait, right? You have to wait. It takes some waiting. But I really do, I do, the depths of my being, believe that what we are doing, what we have been doing the last few years, the seeds that we are sowing, the seeds of peace, and I think the principle is the same in regards to seeds of love that you plant, the seeds of hope that you plant, they reap a harvest. They reap a harvest of righteousness. And it is our great pleasure to partner with you and Bertha's mission this year for Advent Conspiracy.